Good Councola, and I want to welcome Councillor Frankie Daly and from Limerick and his guests in the gallery. It's nice to see guests back here again. Taoiseach, Irish electricity prices are already the fourth most expensive in the EU. Prices here are 23% above EU average. Only Germany, Denmark and Belgium beat us. It is price gouging and is a despicable attack on all our citizens and feeling utterly hopeless and hapless, really. And your actions, inflation, as we know today, is at a 22-year high. So your inaction is startling. The issue is affecting every sector of Irish society, including farmers, business owners, families, charity organisations, etc. Everyone is really feeling the pinch and is totally unsustainable. The government's own, our government owned 95% of the ESB, who made a profit of 200 million last year, and paying a dividend to yourself of 120 million to the Minister of Finance. Swift action is needed by the government, but it doesn't seem to be coming, to insist that the ESB cease ripping off consumers. A price cap on profits is needed, and the government can no longer bury its head in the sand. Please, I'm pleading with you, we cannot do this to our people. Does the government believe that a state-owned electricity company should be making record profits at a time when most consumers can barely afford to heat their homes, and some can't? Will the government use its power and influence over how the ESB is gouging to reverse the latest ESB gouging prices to reverse the latest hikes? We have seen all Irish electricity suppliers, including Electric Ireland, blame rising natural gas prices globally for record increases. However, the facts do not support this contention. For instance, last October, figures emerged showing that ESB power plants, and many of them, earned profits of between 132,000 and 138,000 an hour at different times during July and September of last year, where generators who I mentioned are trying to buy electricity from the ESB. Household electricity costs have risen 70% during 2021, before any mention of the desperate and despicable war in Ukraine. So stop hiding behind that Trojan horse, please. This is a perfect storm you've created. And as I said, we're blaming everything on the Ukraine. And as horrific as it is, Board Gas recently announced further hikes of 27%. Already estimates include that those hikes have added between €1,000 and €1,500 to every person's home. This is just not sustainable. I've raised this matter on numerous occasions. I have written to the Taoiseach, and as I wrote to Santa Claus, or the Easter Bunny is coming this week or next week, so for all the good it did me, about this, and I am again urging the government in the strongest possible terms to take swift action, directing the ESB to stop ripping off customers and placing a cap on all profits generated in Ireland. This is necessary to ensure immediate reductions in all electricity customers in Ireland, and a direct government intervention is needed. Don't stand idly by and promise something in October. You're not doing anything. You're supposed to represent the people and look after their interests, but you're not. You're allowing the ESB to do what they want.
Thank you very much. Taoiseach, please.
Thanks very much, Deputy. It is absolutely the case that the ESB is a very profitable state-owned company. It generates very significant profits each year, and it may well be the case that this year it generates larger profits than it did in previous years, but it is a state-owned company, and I think it's important to put on the record of the House as to what that company does with its profits. Its profits form part of its balance sheet. What it does with it is to invest in the grid, to make sure that we can bring power to all parts of the country, and power, job creation and economic development, and it also invests in renewables. And investment in renewables is the long-term solution to the energy security problems that we have, and the long-term solution to the price instability that we have at the moment. So those profits do get reinvested. What also happens with a good chunk of those profits is they do come back to the state. They come back to the Exchequer, both in terms of the corporation profit taxes that they pay and the dividend that they pay to the state. And we use that money. It goes into the government's coffers, and we use that money to do things like increase the fuel allowance and to do things like take the €200 off people's electricity bills. So that is where the money goes. And it is open to the government to take a bigger dividend. If we see that the ESB is making windfall profits or excessive profits, we can take a bigger dividend from that company and give that back to people, whether that's in the form of the fuel allowance or whether it's in the form of further reductions to their bills.
Deputy McGrath.
And acknowledge the hard work of all the ESB crews, especially in times of storm or outages, and everybody else. The Commission for Regulation of Utilities, where are they? What's the role of that Commission? Just a fancy brass plaque on a wall and posh seats and a board of members of Quango. They're actually standing idly by. They're useless, toothless and fruitless. That's what they are. And you're saying if you see the ESB, sure, everyone can see the ESB are fleecing people. And how long are you going to wait to find out? You try to raise a family in it and you see. The issue of how usage, the other issue is how low usage charges must also be examined and scrapped, where those who are making every effort for Eamon Ryan to cut their bills, electricity usage, are being charged more for doing so. So you really want to penalise and punish the people. You're doing it every hour of every day, every second of every minute. Punish the people. You just said it. You get the money back in from the ESB. He spent it. What do you do? Give Mr. Houlihan a job at Trinity at 187,000 that he never applied for, no one advertised it, and that he's probably not fit for.
Thank you, Deputy.
And many more. Paul Reid and many more people. People are sick and tired of the monkeys on their back, and the monkeys are sitting over there and doing anything better than anyone. But they're sick and tired of being harangued and being downtrodden, and they're going to rise up because they won't put up with this. They can't afford to live.
Thank you, Deputy. Can I just say we should not question the undoubted capacity and abilities of Dr. Tony Houlihan.
A great job for a special job for him. Well, I question it.
Let's not cast any aspersions.
Thanks for your advice, but I question it.
On the man's ability.
Job for life and a pension as well.
Thanks, Deputy. Fundamentally, what drives the price of electricity in Ireland is the price of gas internationally. That's how we make most of our electricity. We make it from gas, and that's what determines the price point. And the wholesale price of gas, which used to be 60 pence per term, is now nearly £3 per term. So we've seen an almost five-fold increase in the cost of gas on international markets. Thankfully, we're not seeing a five-fold increase in electricity prices. We'd be having a very different conversation if we were in that position today. But what we are seeing happening across Europe, in Northern Ireland and Britain, we're seeing price increases in the region of 30 to 40%. And unfortunately, in Ireland, we're no different. We're not immune from the dramatic rise in the price of gas that's happened internationally. We totally acknowledge the impact that's having on household budgets, on the cost of doing business, and that's why we're trying to act. And people will see the €200 coming off their bill at the moment. We've done the reduction in excise. Well, it's addition to VAT, so it's 200 when you include the VAT, to be exact. And of course, we're examining other measures and other things that we might do to help in the future.
Thank you very much, Tony.